Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure the whole House will want to join with me today in commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack, where thousands of American service personnel and civilians died. The next day, Winston Churchill summoned Parliament to debate the British response, and when he did, he said this: "It is indispensable to our system of government that Parliament should play its full part in all important acts of the state." These words are a vital reminder that even at a time of crisis, in fact, especially at a time of national crisis, the role of Parliament is central. And in that same spirit, we welcome the government's decision to accept our motion today that they will show Parliament their plan for Brexit before Article 50 is triggered. So can I ask the Leader of the House one central question about this plan? Does the government want the UK to remain part of the customs union?
Mr. Speaker, can I first of all join the honourable lady opposite in marking the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, in remembering all of those who lost their lives at that time, but also marking with a sense of some sort of celebration even the fact that Prime Minister Abe is joining President Obama in going to Pearl Harbor, the first Japanese Prime Minister so to do, and I think that sign of reconciliation, putting ancient conflicts behind, is a welcome one. To the latest point about Europe, the government has always made it clear that we would seek to give additional clarity about our position at the earliest opportunity. But it's been the case, as my right honourable friend the Prime Minister has said many times, that one of our core objectives is going to be to secure the maximum freedom for British companies both to have access to and operate within the single European market.
I thank the Leader of the House for that answer, but I would respectfully say to him that surely on this issue the answer should be straightforward. We all know that it would be a disaster for British business if we do not remain part of the customs union. As the Leader of the House himself said in February, everything we take for granted, trade without customs checks or paperwork at national frontiers, would all be up in the air. It is massive what is at risk. Now, on this side of the House, we would agree with him. We couldn't agree with him more. So can he put it beyond doubt right now, today, tell us, does the government want the UK to stay in the customs union?
I mean, the honourable lady and I, she's right, Mr. Speaker, the honourable lady and I both argued passionately for the Remain cause during the referendum. What separates us now is that I am part of a Conservative government which is working together to respect the democratic verdict and to secure the best possible outcome for the prosperity and security of the entire United Kingdom from those negotiations. Whereas the honourable lady, even just 2 months ago, was telling us that she wanted to go back to the British people in some way. She needs to decide whether she accepts the democratic verdict or not.
Thornberry! Of course we accept the democratic decision of the British public. Of course we do. But the difference between our side of the House and that side is that we want to leave the European Union on behalf of 100%, on behalf of the whole of this nation. Now, we really need to have a straightforward answer to a straightforward question, because leaving the customs union would mean having to check every container coming in at Dover. It would mean UK firms having to approve their origin tests, whenever they export to Europe. It would mean chaos and it would mean gridlock for cross-border supply chains. And as the Leader of the House said himself in May about lamb and beef exports, I believe, they go tariff-free. They go without any extra checks. You cannot guarantee any of that if we are outside. Now, again, on this side, we agree with what he said 6 months ago. The question is, does he still agree with himself?
I mean, I thought it hadn't escaped even the honourable lady's attention that there had been a rather significant referendum since February, and that changes the context in which we are now having to operate. We face, yes, a deep, very challenging, very wide-ranging negotiation. And it would be harmful to the national interest for me or other ministers to engage in the sort of detailed exposition of our negotiating position that she is now pressing upon me. None of the other 27 governments is doing that, nor should we.
Dear, oh dear, we're not asking for details. We're asking about a central plank of the negotiations. If he cannot give us an answer on the customs union as a whole...
Order. Both the questions and the answers will be heard, so if the juvenile behaviour can stop, that would be really helpful to the scrutiny process. Emily Thornberry.
So... we don't get an answer on the whole of the customs union, so can I ask him a question about one specific point? Since 1993, there have been no customs checks on the land border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. And in May, when visiting Northern Ireland, the Right Honourable Gentleman said if the UK was not part of the customs union, then there would have to be custom checks at the border. And he said that for anyone to pretend otherwise would be, and I quote, flying in the face of reality. So, can he confirm that this remains the position, and if that is right, he really must today make it clear that this is something that the government is determined to avoid?
The Prime Minister and the Northern Ireland Secretary have repeatedly made it clear that we, as indeed as the Irish government, want to see the very long-standing common travel arrangements and the free trade arrangements across the Irish border continue. We are actively engaged in talking both to the Northern Ireland Executive and to the Government of the Republic of Ireland about those matters. There is goodwill on all those sides to try and reach a solution that works for the people north and south of the border.
The Leader of the House has made the familiar arguments that he can't give answers, that it's all to be resolved through negotiations. Brexit means Brexit, Brexit means breakfast. But that is not what the Secretary of State for Brexit himself said when he was asked about the customs union in September, because he said, and I quote, "We have looked at this matter carefully, and that is exactly the sort of decision that we will resolve before we trigger Article 50. So, if the government is going to decide the position on this issue before March the 31st, can the Leader of the House confirm that the British people and the British Parliament will be told some answers to my questions before they tell the rest of Europe?"
Mr. Speaker, if the answers sound familiar, it may be because we need some constant repetition before the Honourable Lady will understand and appreciate The government is at the moment engaged in a consultation with more than 50 sectors of United Kingdom business to ascertain precisely which aspects of European Union membership work well for them, which they see as harmful, where the opportunities beyond EU membership lie. We will come to a decision and we will go into negotiations on behalf of the full 100% of the United Kingdom population and all 4 nations of the United Kingdom.
Emily Thornberry!
The fact is, and he knows it, we all know it, that he can consult as much as he likes, but the answer will come back: we should be part of the customs union. It is hugely disappointing that on a day when the government is committing to greater transparency on its intentions for Brexit, we're getting the usual stonewalling. We have a government that's promising to tell us the plan while refusing to give us answers to the most basic of questions. We have a government promising to give Parliament a say when they're spending we don't know how much of taxpayers' money across the road in the Supreme Court trying to stop Parliament having a say on this. In short, we have a government that cannot tell us the plan because they do not have a plan. They do not have a plan. In February, the Leader of the House said, when he was hearing about what he was hearing about from the Leave campaign was confusing, contradictory nonsense. My final question is this: Are we hearing anything different from this government today?
Mr. Speaker, we will publish, before Article 50 is triggered, a statement about our negotiating strategy and objectives, as the Prime Minister has said yesterday. But the honourable lady seems again to be in a state of utter denial about the consequences that flow from the referendum decision. No other EU government is seeking to reverse or question the legitimacy of that vote in the way that she and a number of her colleagues are still trying to do. But I'm afraid that just indicates how distant the Labour Party now is from any aspiration to be back in government again. We watch them in action. It's like it's quarrelling like mutiny on the Bounty as reshot by the Carry On team.
Oh, there's far too much noise. I want to hear the words flowing. There's no reason why the chair should be denied the hearing of these matters. It's very important, the leader.
They are rudderless. They are drifting on Europe as on so many other aspects of policy. It's little wonder that so many decent working people who for generations looked to Labour to be their champion have given up in despair and are turning to this party as the authentic voice of working families.
Angus Robertson. Some of the most deprived communities in the country are in Glasgow. And today we learn, apparently, that the government plans to close job centres in those very communities. In Parkhead, in Bridgeton, in Easterhouse, in Castlemilk, in Langside, in Annisland, in Cambuslang and Maryhill. Is it true that the government is planning to close these important offices and add misery to the many tens of thousands of people in Glasgow who currently use these centres?
Well, clearly the Department for Work and Pensions, like every government department, does look from time to time at its estates, at the number of offices that it has. But the right honourable gentleman makes a perfectly reasonable point on behalf of people in Glasgow. I will ask my right honourable friend, the Work and Pension Secretary, to contact him with the details that he's seeking.
Angus Robertson. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, that's not good enough. The department.
Absolutely. Watch this.
I'm sorry, being heckled when dealing with communities that are so deprived does not behove Tory members well in Scotland. Absolutely. The Leader of the House is correct to say that the Department of Work and Pension has plans to cut the estate by 20%. What the DWP is planning to do to Glasgow is to cut it by 50%. Why is this government planning to disproportionately cut vital job centres in some of the most deprived communities in our country? Why?
The key element in any such decision that a government department has to make is not the raw number of offices that there should be, but about how accessible the offices and the services which they provide continue to be to the people who need to use them. And I am absolutely confident that it is that criterion that is at the heart of my right honourable friend's thinking in planning for the future of offices in Scotland and everywhere else in the United Kingdom.